As we get older and we become adults, we sometimes forget what it's like to let go and let our minds wander. That kind of freedom can be really empowering and also fun. Today, I'm taking some inspiration from a piece that I wrote for Darling magazine recently. It's a list of 10 different ways that you can get in touch with your inner child. And with spring being here, a time for renewal, I hope that these things help you refresh your overall outlook on life. And don't forget to have fun along the way. I'm sure a lot of you out there are like me and remember building forts as a kid. They are one of my favorite memories, and I would turn our living room into a crazy fort maze. I would turn tables into forts. I would literally turn anything that I could get my hands on into a fort. As adults, I feel like we don't really think about how awesome the opportunity for fort building really is, because we don't have to follow anyone's house rules except our own, and so we can build the fort of our dreams. There's a lot more freedom when you're building a fort in your own space, and you can add touches that make it feel cozy and snuggly and bring back those memories of childhood. Personally, I think building a fort around your bed is a really great way to make a cozy, snug space. I also like adding in some twinkle lights to make it feel whimsical. Not only will this get you in touch with childhood moments of gathering materials to build a fort, but you're also going to create a really cool space for just hanging out. You can invite friends over, you can eat in a fort, you can read in a fort, you can just chill, and my fort specifically has a TV in it, because why not just binge watch your favorite shows or watch a movie while you're all nice and snug. As a kid, I loved playing games. I loved the escapism, and I loved how games allowed me to experience a new and different adventure. Also, I'm just a nerd at heart, so I feel like games just really resonated with me, and they still very much do now as an adult, because the nerd in me, I think, has only grown as the years have passed. One game that I've been playing for the last couple of months religiously is Bubble Witch 3 Saga. To say that I am obsessed with this game is an understatement, because I may or may not be close to reaching level 90. I just want to say thank you so much to King, the maker of Bubble Witch 3 Saga, for sponsoring this video, because I love the game so much. I've played it every single day, and it just has helped bring a little bit more of that childhood joy back into my life, and just makes me really happy when I play it. So if you're not familiar with Bubble Witch, it is a bubble shooting game. And something that's really cool is that Bubble Witch 3 Saga is running a special YouTube campaign called Stella's Stars. And guess who's a part of that? I am. It's really hard for me to contain my excitement, because this means that I'm gonna be in the game from April 5th through the 11th. Once you pass level 15, you'll be able to find me in the home feature, which is super easy to find because it's literally a home button on your screen. So you just press that and you'll be able to say hi to me. Once you do that, you'll be able to visit my home by looking for my profile picture in the friends bar at the bottom of the screen. While we're talking about the home feature, while you're here, you may notice that there are little fairies flying around, and you can actually tap on these to get extra points. And a little tip for you, if you wait for 2 fairies to cross over each other, you'll get even more points. And if you start playing the game and you're looking for some tips and tricks, I actually shared some, and you can only see these tips on the Magic channel, which you access through the game. And guess what? There's gonna be a lot more YouTubers in the game over the next coming weeks, so make sure you go and visit them. You'll be able to find them the exact same way that you find me. Side note, one thing that I would really love, because this is one of my favorite things about the game, you get to update your house, and I would love to see screenshots of your homes as you move along in the game, because I would just like to see how you decorate everything. It is so cool because they have different options, and I just love scrolling through my friends bar and seeing how other people choose to update their homes. You know, just me being nosy, wanting to see how other people decorate. Cereal was one of my favorite foods as a kid, but I was never allowed to have sugary cereal at home. So I would always take advantage and sneak some when I stayed at friends' houses. I loved cereal so much that my friends' parents actually prepared themselves for me coming over, and they would buy new boxes of cereal because they knew that I would just eat so much of it. As an adult, I love indulging in some of my childhood favorites. It just brings back memories like staying over at friends' houses and how awesome their parents would be to get new cereal, and how much I just really relished those moments because they were so small but really special. And I remember sitting around the table with my friends, like when we would wake up in the morning and we would have the best chats and we would laugh and we would all be eating different cereals. Plus, cereal tastes really good and it still tastes just as good as an adult. I remember walking barefoot just out into the world as a kid and not even thinking twice about it. But as adults, most of us rarely walk around barefoot outside of our homes. Since this is something that most of us aren't doing on a regular basis, it'll probably feel a little bit weird at first to be walking around outside with no shoes on. You may not even really like it at first, but I think just making the move to do something like that can be really freeing because the act itself is so symbolic. You don't just have to wait to be at the beach to go barefoot. You can walk around in the grass, you can walk to your mailbox and get the mail. Whatever you feel most comfortable with, just be mindful of where you are stepping because you don't want to be stepping on anything sharp or on anything that could potentially hurt you. Taking off your shoes, getting your feet a little bit dirty is something that I think we could all benefit from. And while you're outside, why not blow some bubbles, right? I mean, it's just pure fun. And I think that we all just turn into little kids whenever bubbles come out because you immediately just want to chase after them. You want to try and blow the biggest bubble. You want to see how many bubbles you can get out of just one wand dip. I know that was one of my favorite things to do. There's just never-ending fun with bubbles, and it's such a simple pleasure. And that's what getting in touch with your inner child is really all about. I think a big reason why we feel so out of touch with who we were as kids is because we get distracted by all of the events in life and we don't let our minds wander as much anymore. This is something that kids do all the time. Doing something as simple as laying in the grass can really just open up your mind and let your imagination run free. I love finding a quiet spot where I can put down a blanket and just lay down and absorb the surroundings. If there are clouds in the sky, I will imagine that there are different shapes and different animals or whatever happens to come to my mind, and I'll close my eyes and feel the wind. If there's a breeze going by, I'll listen to the sounds that are around me. And this really is a mindfulness practice. And as kids, we do this quite a bit without actually realizing that it is mindfulness. And it's because as children, we tend to be much more free and much more open and not so worried about things going on in life. And as adults, it's really important to take time to enjoy moments like this. At the end of the day, something that we all have in common is that life puts us through the ringer. And that's why it's so important to get in touch with who you are. And that means sometimes revisiting who you were as a kid. Because I think if you do that, you'll realize that you have a lot more in common than you think. Don't forget to download Bubble Witch 3 Saga so you can see me in the game. And I would love it if you stop by my house and say hi.